Hello.
Very nice.
Took you long enough to ask. We boarded the Avalon with a destination.
I think something went wrong with the hibernation pods. Something's wrong. Something big. This ship is gonna go. I have to do this.
Imagine discovering a plot hole so massive, it collapses passengers' entire universe. Let's dissect the scene that broke the internet, that the movie begins with a view of a massive spaceship traveling through space. Inside it, a research team and many passengers are on a mission to colonize a planet similar to Earth. The journey to this planet will take 90 years, so all the passengers are placed in special machines called sleeping chambers that keep them in deep sleep and prevent aging. These chambers are designed to wake the passengers only once the ship reaches its destination. As the spaceship travels, it encounters a field of asteroids, massive rocky debris that strike the ship. Despite the impact, the ship is highly advanced and its auto repair system is activated. Although some minor damage occurs, the system fixes everything. However, during this process, one sleeping chamber malfunctions and its light turns on. The chamber opens and a passenger named Jim wakes up. 30 years into the 90-year journey that disoriented at first, Jim eventually regains his senses. He heads to the main hall, where passengers are supposed to gather post-journey, but finds it completely empty. He searches the entire ship, but finds no one. Hoping to contact the crew, he tries to access the control room, only to discover it's locked and can only be opened with an authorized ID that using the ship system. Jim checks his current location and is devastated to learn he has woken up 90 years too early, meaning he'll die of old age before ever reaching the new planet. While roaming, Jim thinks he sees another person, but it's actually a humanoid robot. Jim finds a tool and tries to repair his sleeping chamber, but fails. He even attempts to cut into the control room, but its door is too strong to breach. Slowly, Jim notices more malfunctions happening across the ship. Feeling hopeless and alone, he shares his thoughts with the robot, saying he feels like he'll die here without help. The robot responds with wisdom, telling Jim that humans often suffer because they desire what they don't have instead of appreciating what they do. This motivates Jim to make the best of his situation, and he starts enjoying the ship's many entertainment features. One day, Jim accidentally stumbles near a sleeping chamber and sees a woman inside, Aurora. He becomes fascinated by her and starts watching her recorded interviews. Torn between loneliness and guilt, Jim ultimately decides to wake her up, knowing it's morally wrong. He cleans himself up and damages her chamber to open it. Aurora awakens and sees Jim, but doesn't suspect anything. That Jim hides the tools he used and tells Aurora that their chambers were damaged during the asteroid collision. Aurora is initially scared and investigates, but finds Jim's explanation consistent with what she sees. Over time, Aurora accepts the situation. She learns that she is a gold-class passenger and receives better meals, which she also shares with Jim. The two grow close, trying to find ways into the control room and enjoy the ship's amenities like dancing and spacewalks. Gradually, they fall in love. That on Aurora's birthday, Jim plans to confess his feelings and give her a ring. However, during the celebration, the robot unintentionally reveals that Jim was the one who woke her up. Heartbroken and betrayed, Aurora is devastated. She becomes furious and physically attacks Jim one night. Though Jim confesses and begs for forgiveness, explaining that loneliness drove him mad, Aurora refuses to forgive him. But soon after, the ship experiences several new malfunctions. The lift stops working, food machines malfunction, and strange things happen. In the middle of this chaos, the head crew member of the mission unexpectedly wakes up. Realizing the critical condition of the ship, he opens the control room and begins inspecting the systems. He finds multiple problems and also discovers that Aurora's chamber was intentionally opened, but says nothing, understanding Jim's desperation. However, the crew leader's health rapidly deteriorates. His body scans reveal he's suffering from over 600 serious conditions due to the malfunctioning chamber. Realizing he's dying, he entrusts Aurora and Jim with his ID and asks them to look after each other. Soon after, he passes away. After his death, Aurora and Jim focus on fixing the ship. A serious malfunction causes a sudden loss of gravity. Aurora nearly drowns in a swimming pool, trapped inside a floating water bubble. The ship's power returns just in time, saving her and Jim. Investigating further, they discover massive problems in the power core. As they reach the main power area, the crew leader collapses, confirming his fate that inside the power core, Aurora and Jim find that the heat exhaust system is jammed. Jim decides to go outside in a space suit to manually open a stuck lever. When he pulls the lever, the door opens but will only stay open while held. Knowing the exhaust heat will pass directly through him and could kill him, Jim still chooses to risk his life. Aurora hesitates, but eventually helps by pulling the lever from inside, releasing the heat. Tragically, Jim is severely injured during the process. His safety tether snaps, and he floats into space. Aurora rushes out in a suit, manages to catch his tether, and pulls him back. She brings him inside, puts him in a medical pod, and commands the system to treat him fully. For a moment, it seems Jim is lost, but then he opens his eyes, and Aurora is overwhelmed with relief that once Jim recovers, the two finish repairing the ship. They respectfully wrap the deceased crew leader's body and honor him before releasing him into space. Later, Jim discovers a working sleeping chamber. He offers Aurora the chance to go back to sleep and wake up upon arrival at the new planet. But Aurora refuses, saying she doesn't want to live without him. They decide to live out their lives together. Years later, Jim gives Aurora the ring he had planned to give her on her birthday. She accepts it with joy. Time passes, and finally, the ship arrives at its destination. The other passengers awaken and are surprised to see the spaceship transformed, with plants, greenery, and signs of life everywhere, thanks to Jim and Aurora. Though they had passed away, their legacy lived on, and the spaceship reached its destination because of them. And with that, the story ends. Agree? Disagree? Let's start a comment civil war. And if you're obsessed with hidden movie secrets, smash that bell. Our next video might ruin your childhood. Thanks for watching.